Good morning and welcome to Beacon. We are here live from Beacon here at Fort Waldron Avenue in Summit, New Jersey. I'm the Reverend Emilie Boggis, and I am delighted to be here next to Dr. Tuli Patel and Reverend Robin, who is back from sabbatical. I cannot tell you how much we've missed you.
It is so good to be back. I really missed you all. I went through this first few weeks of waking up every Sunday, like all ready for the blessed rest of nothing. But no, truly, it was a gift to have that time and that space. And thanks to my compass, I have found my way back, and I am so glad to be back.
We are so glad to have you back with us. Another very special thing that we do as Unitarian Universalist congregations is that we are democratic. We get to vote on some big decisions. And this is your formal announcement as per our bylaws. Next Sunday, May 23rd at 11:15 via Zoom, that means virtually, we have a special meeting of the congregation. And in order to vote at that meeting, you must have a pledge on file and you must make a payment towards it today so that I'm not chasing you around. So please, if there's any doubt whether you're a member or you can vote, just email me, tuli@summitbeacon.org, and we look forward to seeing you there.
And Tuli, thank you for keeping us so grounded in the process and making sure that we can all vote and be ready to vote on
Bylaws,
May 23rd.
people, right?
Bylaws.
Bylaws.
Bylaws are beautiful.
I mean, I don't want to read
bylaws
them.
too?
I don't want to read them, but I appreciate them.
Bylaws, people.
So welcome again, everybody. Today's service is one of the most deeply meaningful of our congregation. We have water communion, we have flower communion, we have these high points throughout the year. Coming of age is definitely one of those, a time when we celebrate our ninth graders and their role in our lives. I know of several newcomers who just happened to have their first Sunday on Coming of Age Sunday. And each one of them have told me stories about how impactful it was in their lives and how it changed them.
Absolutely. I mean, I had to come back from sabbatical for this service.
Yes.
That's how important it has been in my own spiritual journey. And I know for Unitarian Universalists across the country, I think this is the best of our faith, right?
Absolutely.
When we make space to companion one another on our spiritual journeys and really to recognize the lifespan nature of our faith.
Yeah.
And its evolution in our midst.
Yeah. I know that for many of the adults out there, you are going to watch this service and hear our ninth graders and say, man, I was not that wise at 14 and 15 years old. So let us listen for the deeper wisdom in this service and let us begin our worship together and hold this space of inspiration. So Beacon, I invite you to listen deeply. What do you hear outside of the lawnmower that we are now hearing? What do you hear? This morning, my ears were listening before my eyes were actually open, and I could hear the birds singing to one another, calling to one another, waking the morning. And so I invite you to listen deeply. What is the song that is singing in your soul this morning? And how can we this day, this hour, sing into that song and join the world's chorus that is longing for love and liberation? Let us worship.
Must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach the children well, their parents' hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picks, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why they told you you will cry, since the look at them inside and know they love you. They love you. And you of tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picks, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why they told you you will cry. Just look at them inside and know they love you. They love you.
We can never come back to this place. Already the we who were together one day or someday have changed, transformed. Already the words we spoke settle into floors with cells from another us. And we in these moments are stretching like light from the strongest star to give birth to our meaning, our truth, our lives. Already the light travels out across space and time, and we are wrapped in the miraculous wonder of it all again and never again and once again. History kindles memory, legacy, as present yearns to understand, be understood, to come into this age, this living legacy where future beckons us on.
For today's Time for All Ages, we are going to look back at where our coming of agers have come from, what they did, and how they've grown and changed. Part of looking back means also looking at people who've journeyed with us. With our 9th graders, we were blessed to have Joyce Andraz, Maduro Jaco, and Daniel Simbala, who met with our youth as they explored some big questions. We thank them. Looking back allows us to wonder at change and growth, and also reminds us of things being impermanent. This is the nature of all things. When you're feeling sad or angry, know that it will pass. When you're happy, this too will pass. Every second of the life we have is great. So, ask yourself questions. What is the nature of your humanity? What's the fingerprint you want to leave behind? Who are you? Who do you want to become? What happens after we die? We have asked the youth to think deeply about who they are, what's important to them, and to be authentic, to have integrity. For some of us, it'll bring up memories of our own teen years when we discuss these questions. For others, our current struggles will be clearly reflected in the words of these 9th graders. But you know what? This is what we do as a faith community. We dig deep, we peel back the layers, and we hold each other in love as we reveal our most intimate spiritual selves. Beacon is a safe community, and you and our 9th graders, what we do when we ask ourselves these questions is incredibly brave. They say there's no such thing as a safe space, It's a brave space that we have, and it will take all of us to make it both brave and safe for each other and ourselves. At every age, you learn new things and grow in your understanding of the world and your place in it. On your journey, remember to always be true to who you are. Ask those awkward questions. Read and research and continue growing in your mind, body, and spirit. Because there's always something new to discover about yourself and our world. And share what you discover with other people, because you and your voice are so very important. That's what being a Unitarian Universalist is all about. Discovering every day who you are and how you can make this beautiful world that we're part of even better because you're here. Thus ends our time for all ages.
Each week at Beacon, we light candles of joy and of sorrow, calling into our shared space the names of the people, the places, the moments in our lives that we are holding in our hearts. Today, would you call into this space with me the spirit of Sankofa? The concept of Sankofa comes from the peoples of West Africa. Sankofa, literally translated, means it is not taboo to go back and fetch what you forgot. It is not taboo. Sankofa teaches us that we must go back to our roots in order to move forward. That is, we should reach back and gather the best of what our past has to teach us so that we can achieve our full potential today and tomorrow. Whatever we have lost, forgotten, forgone, or been stripped of can be reclaimed. Do you believe that, Beacon? Whatever we have lost, forgotten, forgone, or been stripped of can be reclaimed and revived. Visually and symbolically, Sankofa is expressed as a mythic bird that flies forward while looking back with an egg in its mouth, symbolizing the future. The spirit of Sankofa ties with our coming of age class. It is something we explored there. In order to understand our present and our future, we must know our past. And so we asked the class the origins of their name, to post their baby pictures, and to tell us where they came from. And so, Beacon, we invite you now, the larger congregation, to look back and to lift up the names of ancestors, mentors, and teachers, change makers who paved the way for us. Take a moment to breathe in and to call forth their names. And as you do so, I invite you to lift up their name in the chat. Share your gratitude for their life and the intermingling with your own in the chat. For Everyday Beacon, we are becoming the ancestors, like it or not. And we have the potential to become the change makers. And there is so much need for change. As we look back, we face America's history of slavery and genocide, and we understand how deeply rooted dehumanization and violence against Black and Brown communities here in our country, how very present that is now. And so Beacon is committed to healing. It says so in our mission statement. Today and throughout this month, we are lifting up the change makers who are healing our world as our candle of witness. Today, I am delighted. It fills me with joy to lift up the names of Reverend Charles and Rosalie Boyer, founders of Salvation and Social Justice right here in New Jersey. They are liberating public policy theologically. I love that statement. Liberating public policy
theologically. What does that mean? Beacon, I invite you to go to their website, Salvation and Social Justice, and learn more about what that means and what that looks like. For they are naming the very real disparities here in New Jersey, disparities that affect real people, that lift up white communities and disparage Black and Brown communities. They are naming those, the way that we are segregated when it comes to housing and education, the way that toxically condemned sites in our state are placed in Black and Brown communities, health insurance disparities, yes, and as we know, policing and police brutality. They are not just naming them. They don't stop there. They are building coalitions of civil rights leaders and lawmakers, change agents, and yes, faith leaders like our own Reverend Dr. Robin Tanner. Together as coalitions, they are changing public policy theologically. They are liberating it. And they are transforming our institutions from the systematic racism that is woven into them. Salvation and Social Justice Beacon. Reverend Charles and Rosalie Boyer. Know their names, for they are the change makers who look back, know what America is, and are paving the way for the future. Let us light a candle in their honor. Amen.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home.
Thank you, Jamaine, for that amazing rendition of Amazing Grace. What a great way to welcome our ninth graders into our virtual pulpit. Coming of age is one of the rites of passage for Unitarian Universalist youth. Like you, our ninth graders are on a lifelong journey of exploring and examining their faith. For most of us, we understand our faith when we have aha moments or when we might be reflecting or meditating. This process of sifting through the many things that zoom, pun intended, through our daily lives and picking out what we value and the principles we want to live by is lifelong. Our ninth grade coming of age teenagers have spent a year, 15 sessions, dedicated and focused on the endeavor of understanding their faith and who they are as Unitarian Universalists. Today, we recognize the completion of a year devoted to this exploration. In our programs at Beacon, our mission is to raise resilient, confident, compassionate youth and children. The statements that you are going to witness today are going to reflect exactly this. This year, we asked our ninth graders to choose a Deeds Not Creeds project. They delivered coats and holiday gifts for Chancellor Ave students, cleaned up the sanctuary room, and chose to speak up for racial justice. This morning, we've gathered over these virtual airways from distant shores and far-off countries. Welcome to all grandparents, aunts, cousins, wherever you're watching from, to celebrate our young teens, what they understand of the world, how they are navigating and deepening their relationship with what it means to be human. We have asked them to be brave, authentic, and tell us who they are. For some of us, what we will hear and see will strike a deep chord as it brings back memories of our own teenage years. For others, what we will witness will eerily echo our own current struggles or triumphs. As a faith community, we hold each other with care as we reveal and share our most intimate spiritual lives. This morning, as we listen, we invite you to think about what is being shared by each one of our youth. Imagine if the tables were turned and you were given just one chance to stand here in front of a crowd of people, virtual or not, to share what you value, what is dear to you. What would you say? Let us listen to our youth.
Hello. Faith to me has always been an open book. I've been very lucky to be in a community of Unitarian Universalists to grow up with. Yes, this has persuaded my beliefs and views on religion, but it is still giving me many chances to view other religions and create my own opinion. So when you ask me what my religion is, I'll say Unitarian Universalist, yet faith to me is still so open. I want to believe that religion is a piece of the truth and should be respected as long as it respects others. I set my heart to helping others in the Black Lives Matter movement and to the Me Too movement and so many others who just want fairness, equality, and equity. Art has always heavily guided me to become Lucia, which I don't think will ever stop either. With the question of who I want to become, my brain gets all jumbled and overcomplicates it. To me, that question is loaded until I realize that there is no definite answer. I have no idea what I will become or who I will be, because after a surprise pandemic, I know that the future can change everything in an instant. I want to have art influence my choices and still have a community around me that loves and supports me. I want to be able to make mistakes and help those who make mistakes as well. I also know that I want to create something beautiful that someone can be touched by and at least make a small change for the better. Thank you.
Throughout my life, I've always been stumped on many questions. Specifically, I never really knew the answer to who I am. Everyone mainly says their name when they're introducing themselves, but why? Can a single word accurately depict who someone is? Throughout my life, I felt different, separated. I've had friends who helped me and who I both admire and respect still to this day, but I've also had trouble making new ones too. If someone asks me, what do I want to do when I'm older? I always say something with technology, but I really have no idea. I don't know what I could do, what I want to do, or even if there is anything I'm supposed to do. Throughout my life, I felt different from others. Everyone seems they're whole on the outside, yet I can't tell if they're putting up a charade to really show how unorganized or broken they are, or if they really are whole. I constantly feel fractured into pieces. It's like I'm a puzzle, made up of different things, experiences, and people who have helped me become who I am today. An incomplete puzzle that sits out on a table waiting to be finished. I think that working hard, helping others, and even standing up for them will help finish it, but it doesn't inch closer. When I do these things that make others feel good inside, nothing happens. It's as if the puzzle will forever be incomplete, no matter what I do. So, what should I do to feel whole? What am I missing? Yet, throughout my life, there were times where I was once whole. Before COVID started, I used to host bonfires. I loved seeing all my friends so happy that they were invited, all of them happy that they got to spend time with their friends. I almost rejoiced in this feeling. I felt whole because the other people around me were happy. When I play music in my room, focusing on even the tiniest details, I feel whole. When I perform, whether at a competition or on a stage, I feel whole on the cheers of the audience, the clapping of the crowd who are amazed by what they just saw. It is always in my time of need where I feel all my different parts melt together into what I believe is truly me. So, what's wrong with feeling like an incomplete puzzle when there are other people, places, or things that make me feel complete? Because it's those people who can guide you to completing a puzzle that makes you feel whole. Thank you for listening and have a good day.
I'm going to start this statement off in a way that may confuse a lot of people. For many years of my life, I saw people as spheres. I looked at their public images and the ways that they presented themselves, and I saw perfectly round, polished spheres. Sure, everyone was different, but they all had identities. They all knew who they were in the social scheme of things. And I went through most of my life looking at things this way. But the real issue with this view was that I looked at myself and I didn't see a perfect sphere. I saw one that was dented and rough around the edges. I saw one that had more imperfections than anyone else, and I hated myself for it. I tried so many ways to make myself polished and put together, to have one identity that I could count on. But try as I might, it was impossible. See, what I didn't know at the time was that you can't compare your insides to everyone else's outsides and expect them to match up. When it comes down to it, you can't compare yourself to others without knowing their inner struggles. When I look at myself, I see my depression, my trauma, my insecurities. And when I look at others, I see their good grades, their personality traits, and the way they present themselves to other people. Clearly, this is a flawed mindset. Unfortunately, it was my mindset for most of my life up until now. This mindset led me to spiral. Every year, my mental health got worse and worse as I aged. When I was in 8th grade, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. And so began my long struggle with mental health. I battled with self-harm and eventually my own suicidal ideations. October of this year, I was hospitalized for planning to kill myself. I didn't see anything in my life that made it worth living. I saw myself on a lower level than everyone around me, and I was in a constant struggle with myself, and it was killing me. It almost did. Thankfully, I am recovering, and I have seen a lot of improvement, but this experience has shaped me and my beliefs greatly. I've been able to see the world through a different lens, through the eyes of somebody who has been through the worst and come out the other side. I now choose to see every new day, every opportunity as a breath of fresh air. And when you look at the world this way, you start to be okay with a lot of things. I am comfortable with my own mortality. I am comfortable with the fact that nothing is constant. I am comfortable with whoever I will become in my future because there was a time that I didn't think I even had a future. I am still depressed and I still have crippling anxiety. And my OCD still prevents me from functioning at times, but I'm learning to cope, and the world is so much brighter because of it. I now understand that no one is a perfect sphere, and that's okay. And I still don't see myself as a perfect polished sphere, but I now understand that that is okay. I'm not less than everyone else. One of our writing prompts for this credo statement was, "Who are you?" And I have an answer for that now. I am someone who is worthy of life.
Thinking about writing all the things and ideals I believe in has made me realize something. It has made me realize that you can't bullshit your way through life, and the only way you can get something you want should be working for it. If I want to be an astronaut and I work really hard to get into position to become one, then it should happen. Now, that may or may not happen for me, but there are people that work their whole lives just to go through college so that they can get a little bit more money, and they never will be able to leave the town that they were born in. There are, of course, people who can get whatever they want and do whatever they want. There are also people who are not as fortunate as me, or those who can do whatever, and they can't even get basic necessities. I've always tried to be conscious of how fortunate and happy my life and family have been, but it doesn't seem right that others have to go through so much and not even be able to give a better life for their children. For my project, I helped move Christmas gifts to the Chancellor Avenue School for the kids there. Even though that sounds like a little thing, it made me think about every single Christmas I've ever had. There has always been a mound of presents under the tree, and I think about what if there was a kid that never had any presents under the tree. And I think about what if there was a kid that never had any presents for them. That project helped me understand why it's so important to give back to those who are less fortunate, Even though you're not as rich and wealthy, giving back is still one of the most important things that you can do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Haley, for those of you who don't know me. I grew up in Beacon, and I was an active member of the youth group up until my high school graduation in 2015. And today I just want to talk to you a little bit about my experience with our partner church in Barot, Transylvania. I first went to Barot when I was, I think, 13 or 14. It was the summer after my freshman year of high school in 2012, and it was life-changing. It honestly is one of the most incredible experiences that I've ever had. I remember when we first got there, we were treated with so much hospitality and kindness. It was really something that I hadn't experienced before in my life. And we ate so much good soup. It was ridiculous, like soup up the wazoo. But even better than the soup, more memorable than the soup, was the music. We didn't all speak the same language, and somehow we were able to come together and play music together. And I will never forget being around a campfire with people that I had only met like a week ago, and we were all singing songs together and having this feeling of, oh, I love these people. I feel at home with these people. I don't even know, how to necessarily say that in the right way in Hungarian, but I know that they know it and that I know it and that we're communicating it with something that is even bigger than language. And that is one of the most profound lessons that I take with me to this day, the different ways that we are able to build community. And the people that I met on these exchanges, both American and Transylvanian, are still some of my closest friends to this day. And I am so grateful for this opportunity. And the truth is that we create this community called Beacon together. You and me, us. Our mission comes alive through our relationships, our voices, our leadership, and our gifts. Now we move into a time where we give generously to support making that mission come alive in our lives and in the world. In a minute, you'll see ways to contribute to Beacon. We invite you to lean into this practice of generosity. I know firsthand that it makes a difference. Thank you.
I believe I do my best as a person to see what the world really is. I believe in keeping my mind open by reminding myself that there are as many cons to life as there are pros. I believe I am one of the lucky who grew up in a loving household with a great education, many friends, and everything I could ever want. But that does not mean I ignore the fact that there are millions of less fortunate. Especially these past few years, I have truly seen the world for what it is, and I know that regardless of its beauties, it has its horrors. I wish it were easy to say I believe the world could see better days, and I do, but it will be a rough road getting there. So the question I feel I am being asked is, where does that leave me? I'm told I am kind, caring, fun, easy to talk to, and a decent friend. So the way I see it, I believe that I am a small portion of that good in the world that the world does not see as much as it sees the bad. I believe that those I love and the things I enjoy keep me in one piece. I will almost never turn down hanging out with others or listening to a friend's playlist because they recommended it. I believe that there is not necessarily a higher power and that humans have complete control over their choices and actions. I do not believe we are guided by an unseen hand. Though I do believe we go elsewhere when we pass. Maybe not a heaven or a hell or somewhere in between, but I was taught energy cannot be created or destroyed. So where does that energy go once we go? My guess, simply back into the earth. It's where we came from, and it's where we belong.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maura. I want to first tell you a little bit about myself. I am an outgoing, kind, and unique person. I would consider myself an overthinker and a big self-critic, so I try to prioritize self-care and my own mental health. At the same time, I also care a lot about making the world a better place. One of these ways I think we can help those around us is by dealing with the issues surrounding social justice. For my Deeds Not Creeds project this year, I chose to work with a youth-led racial justice program called FAIR, also known as Faith Action Inclusivity Representatives. We aim to spread awareness about racial justice issues and work with schools to create a less biased curriculum. I think that this project aligns well with my worldviews since I care a lot about making this world better than it has been for people in the past. In fact, in this class, we often discuss why we are here as humans. I firmly believe that we are here, well, 1, because of evolution, and 2, so that we can make the world better for those around us. These people can include ourselves, our community, and those who come after us. While I do not have any clue as to what happens after I die, and I honestly do not like to think about it very much, I know that what we do in our lifetime is most important. Whether this could include taking care of your own mental health, helping to fight racial injustice, or protecting our environment from the dangers of climate change and more, I believe that there are so many simple ways we can maximize our time spent on this planet. Thank you.
It's hard to put everything I value down in only 350 words or less. When asked a word that describes me, I put both, for I am both. I am a teacher and a student. I am an extrovert and an introvert. I am impartial, and usually when we play games that have people with one opinion go over there and people with another opinion go over there, I'm usually somewhere in the middle. I also thought about my values. In a year and a half, I've learned a lot about myself because nothing says self-reflection like playing Monopoly by yourself during quarantine. I value many things such as hard work, determination, fairness, friendship, kindness, family, love, and a lot more. However, today I'll only talk about 3 of them: loyalty, humor, and honesty. I'm loyal to the end. You need me, I am there. And of course, in quarantine, that's easier said than done. I expect others to be loyal in return, but I realize sometimes people don't recognize disloyalty. Sometimes people don't get that one can both sit with a friend at a table and sit with a friend's friend. Don't up and move tables with literally your entire friend group without so much as a word, leaving you torn between staying with your friend they don't like, who, by the way, doesn't have any other friends, and just wanting to have time with your friends. I stayed with my friend because I was loyal. Because of COVID-19, the whole table thing went away, and I never got a good enough explanation, in my opinion, of why they left. Because, goodness forbid, I be the only one who thinks carefully about everything I do so no one ever feels hurt. On that joyful note, I also value humor, which is able to cut through any situation and make the bad parts of life more bearable. I was able to get through the situation of graduating middle school, going to high school packed with a bunch of freaking giants, and a whole lot more pressure in a pandemic with a simple, remember, coconuts are a tropical fruit, but this is a temperate climate. What is life without a little laughter, after all? And honestly, honesty is hard, but the way I look at it is the truth comes out eventually, so you might as well rip the Band-Aid off. It's also a whole lot better than lying because that connects to trust issues, which connects to disloyalty. Loyalty, humor, and honesty are the things I value. I choose these things because I think they're all connected in some way to my values. You need to trust your friend, their loyalty, and be honest with them, because if you have a friend who you can't trust, is disloyal, and lies to you, why are you friends? All families have a certain style of humor, and at the end of the day, it's fun to have a laugh with your family.
So there are my values. And if anyone remembers from the start about what I said about being both, I have now satisfied the left side of my brain, control and logic, and it's time for the right side. Behold, Edmund. Edmund represents my both. I started with instructions and all the rules, and then I said, screw it, nothing's perfect. And bam, Edmund. Edmund represents the weirdness in me, and I love it because I get really attached to my creations. So this is me, my organized values with sense and logic, and my wilder creative side along with my values. I can't pick one thing or the other, so I'm be both. I am an amazing Hufflepuff, and as I say, I am both.
Who are you? This question seems so simple at first glance, though when tasked with answering it, I begin to forget everything I've done. When I first read this question, my immediate answer is, I'm Alice Carr. My name is a tradition on my mom's side of the family. My mom's name is Mary Alice, my grandma's name is Alice, my grandma's name was Mary Alice, and the list goes on and on. But this speech is supposed to be 300 words, and I'm already way over. Though, as I think more about this question, I begin to think about my family, my friends, the school I attend, and where I grew up. All of these aspects tie into who I am today. When my teachers or my family or my friends ask me who I want to be when I grow up, I have no idea how to respond. As a 15-year-old girl, this question seems almost unanswerable. I know some people have known what they want to be in life since the beginning of time, and I must say I'm extremely jealous of those people. All I can say to answer this question is I want to be someone who can make an impact on the world. I want to be someone who is kind and generous and helps people out. I still don't know what the profession is for that, but I hope one day I will find out. Life is made to seem like you walk down a road, and once you get to a certain age, life makes sense, and everything just falls perfectly into place. But I'm pretty sure that is one of the biggest lies I've ever heard. As I was writing this, I was thinking back to Murray Grove, when we went on that long walk down to the beach, or at least that's what they told us. Life is like that walk on Murray Grove. The road has puddles and swamps that you have to jump over and mud that gets your shoes all dirty. The walk is fun and is also difficult at some points. Though when you reach the end of the road, it's just a giant swamp filled with foxtail plants and a snake in the water. It's not perfect. The answer isn't just laid out in front of you. This story is made to show how there is no end to learning and what you are supposed to know and when you are supposed to know it. So I don't know what I want to be yet, though I do know that a key part of Unitarian Universalism is a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So maybe right now, at this moment, I don't know the meaning of my existence, though I do know that life is a very muddy path, and one day I will figure out why I'm here. So I don't need to know right away what happens in life and what will happen, because the truth is no one really does know. So in the end, my name is Alice Carr, and that's who I am.
7, 8.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say,
Today, our teens have been our guides, and we've learned, been moved, and inspired. Some of us might have been astounded by their bravery. Speaking out loud, as they have done, is no easy task. We commend them for that act of courage and trusting us with these statements. We hold their precious ideas and sentiments gently and understand our youth better ever than before. Credo journeys grow and deepen as we move through life. Our credo statements, if we were ever to get around to writing them down, are never bound in a book, but instead in a loose leaf binder, just like the one that I have here. And that is because we reserve the right to think back, to reflect back, to reassess, to refeel, to re-examine. This is core to Unitarian Universalism. We are a living tradition, ever evolving, ever changing. And so this day we charge our youth with the same words we have repeated throughout this year. Be true to who you are. Continue questing and questioning, investigating and evolving as you grow in body, spirit, and mind. Never stop learning or sharing your gifts with us. We need your voices. We need you. And Beacon is your spiritual home. Don't forget it. We love you, and we are yours as much as you are ours. We give thanks for the miracle of your life and reaffirm our sacred responsibility to help you fulfill the promise and hope that each one of you brings. Blessed be, and amen. Whatever you can do or dream, begin it. Boldness as genius, power, and